Hello, I am David W. Parker. This is Programming Today. I learned WebGL Series 1, Episode 102. This is looking at complex objects Part 2. Today we will be looking at fixing the object selection. So let's go ahead and dive in. If you look at the previous episode, initialization.js, you can see we had just had one basic thing. I've gone ahead and added a cube in addition to the basic thing, just so you can see that the object selection still works on the cube. And we can go ahead and take a look at the basic thing and see what's changed. There may be deleted code in here from the previous episode. I just kind of cleaned up the stuff that wasn't used. So you could see previously we had the selection attribute up here, and we have a couple of cubes. As we go and look at this one, I've removed that attribute because we don't need it. Within our cubes here, I've put a couple of things here just to highlight the fact that we can still have textures as well as angles. But note that when you look at this, there is no texture and no angle applied either. So even if we have those, and we go ahead and save this out real quick and let it refresh, they're still not working. So that's something we'll look at in another episode. But until we get there, let's just go ahead and keep on diving in and seeing what's new in this one. Getting down here to the read state and draw state before we had it set a render mode. This time we're still in the render mode, but we're also going to go ahead and for every single element or component within this basic thing, we're going to set the read state and of course call render or draw afterward. Same thing with the draw state, we're going to render the draw state for every single component within it and then draw. Moving down to the draw function, I believe we don't have anything new here until we get down to the angles. So as we get down here, we can see that we no longer have this code, which didn't work for each, and this one which did. And if you think about that, if you recall our UI mouse code, you can see here that we're going to go ahead and select the object and set the last mouse X and Y, which will be used during here to compute the angle of that specific object. So what we need to be doing is using the states object rather than each individual components, which we weren't actually setting because we weren't setting each of them individually. We are having now one basic thing. So with that said, we updated that, and really scrolling down, we don't really have anything else that's new in this particular episode as we continue to go through and clean things up. But you can see we can now grab this and rotate it. Now that might seem like it's working as a single object until we do something like this, which is, rotating it up and down. You'd expect it to move as one singular piece around like a given axis or the center point. So it looks good when you're going side to side if you're not really paying attention, but when you go up and down, we still have some issues. So we'll look ahead and look at those issues in the next episode, but for now, we have object selection working again, and really the only thing that we needed to make sure we do is setting the selection color on the object here. I didn't say that we did that, but we did, which is really important, and then we're going to go ahead and for every single component within this, we're also setting that as the option color for each component. So now that we're drawing these cubes out, we can go ahead and grab them, and it works as we are expecting. So we'll be fixing the rotation in the next episode, as well as some of the other things like setting angles and doing textures as well. That's it for this episode. If you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe and give a like. Share this on social media if you will, and go to ProgrammingTIL.com and sign up for our newsletter. Have a great one. Thanks.